Hi, I'm Scott Sherman and I'm running for mayor of Winona. WSU Student Senate sent over a list of questions to all the candidates in Winona, asking them to put together a 30-minute audio or video clip. I know that's a long time to keep your attention, but what I did is I threw in a bunch of other video. There's a boring part where I'm answering questions. I'm talking about policy and my experience and where I'm from and all that stuff, but I think you'll find that I was you 25 years ago. I am you in 25 years. I chose to live here in Winona for a reason. My wife and I raised our kids here in Winona for a reason. We love having the students here. Thank you for coming to Winona. Thanks for choosing Winona. Thanks for being part of our community. We love having you here. You're an important part of what Winona is. Stick around through the boring parts. Fast forward if you have to. I've got some funny stuff in there. I've got some video of my kids. I've got some video of my wife and I talking about how we met. Some video of me mountain biking, because that's what we do. Some video of me out and about around town. So anyway, stick around. I appreciate it. Thank you. I grew up in Eagan, Minnesota, graduated high school in 1991. I was heavily recruited for soccer. I was a soccer player for Eagan and then also a state select for a couple of years. Luther, Carleton, St. John, St. Thomas, Gustavus, all those different places. They had male soccer teams in the Midwest, had recruited me, offered me scholarships. I had planned on pursuing that until I came and visited my best friend here at Winona State University. Came down here, loved the area, thought it was gorgeous, loved the campus, liked the people here, the students were awesome, professors were cool, and I ended up coming to Winona State University in 1992. They didn't have a soccer team at the time, and in fact, they only had an international soccer club, and because I was not international, I was not allowed to play with them. I did end up playing men's volleyball as a club sport from 92 to 95 here at Winona State University, and we won one national championship while we were here. We went to national championships the other 3 years that I played. Super fun program, great guys to play with. Really fun getting to play a collegiate sport, even if it was a club team. Ended up coming here. I was an athletic training major. My sophomore year, I had a professor kind of pull me aside. He was a physician over at Mayo, and he asked me what my major was and why I was in athletic training. He saw something in me and asked me to move over to pre-medicine, which I did. Went to school here till 95, ended up moving back up to the Twin Cities, and continued my education up there. Lo and behold, a couple years later, I ended up in the bike industry and started working in bike shops. Some of you know Eric's Bike Shop. I managed 4 different stores over a few years and ended up moving back to Winona in 2002 and worked at the bike shop here for a while, and then became a distributor rep for bicycle products and supplies. And I traveled Minnesota and Northwest Wisconsin selling to bicycle shops as a distributor rep, and then ended up taking a factory rep job with a mountain bike company called Niner Bikes during their infancy and tons of growth during the time, but ended up working for them as a sales rep, covered 17 states, and then I started my own company, a sales rep agency selling bicycles and bicycle components to bicycle shops across 17 states. Had a couple employees during that time, and I stayed in hotels 150 nights a year and traveled a lot, rode my bike a lot, met a lot of cool people, got to see a lot of really cool communities out in my travels. It was, my background is in bicycles, but I've driven over 1 million miles in my lifetime as well. So I've gotten to see how communities can benefit from certain aspects of infrastructure, street design, neighborhood design, small business development, retail stores, restaurants. I've gotten to see it across a wide swath of our nation, and I've worked remotely for a long time. My wife works for Trek Bicycles. She works remotely as well. We have even since before COVID, and even though we work remotely, we choose to live here. We could live anywhere in the world. And a few years ago, people started coming to me asking me or identifying me as a leader in our community, primarily in outdoor recreation, projects that I was working on, trail development, street infrastructure, alternative transportation methods. And what ended up happening is I was invited to a leadership group, it's called Blandon Leadership Program. And what they do is they bring people from different circles within a small community, put them all together, and show them how to network, but also how to work together to help create a better community. After that, a lot of people started asking me, have you thought about running for office? And to be honest, I hadn't. I was kind of had my focus on outdoor recreation, street infrastructure. I was, again, I own my own business, family life, all that good stuff. And I ended up getting that question enough that I started showing up at city council meetings for the last 2 years. And I was there for almost every single city council meeting, pre-council meeting. I went to a lot of commission meetings within the city. And what I really wanted to do was learn about how the community works, how the city works, why certain projects had gotten passed and why other ones weren't. Wanted to learn about the budget, learn about the spending, learn about the public input process and where it was lacking, and also where it does work, and trying to get more voices involved. It's common in government. A lot of people complain about stuff, but they're not actually getting involved during the planning processes. And there's plenty of opportunity there for people to do that. And I wanted to find out how to do that. So I put in a ton of time in the past few years trying to learn as much as I can about our community, how it works, the people that live here, and the different aspects of our community. I have I have borrowed a statement or a thought process from a couple different people that I've met here in the community. But one of the things that really resonated with me is Winona operates on a three-legged stool: arts and culture, healthy lifestyle options, and business or industry. That would include education. Post-secondary education is a business. It's a unique business, but it is a business. It's an HR business, essentially, creating talent. I truly feel that those three legs of the stool are extremely important to a small community. If one of them falters, the other two will start to falter, generally through loss of people and their ideas and their entrepreneurial spirit and their want to live here, their need to live here, or the way they look at things in terms of what they desire when they're looking for a place to live. Winona State is an important part of my experiences when I was younger. It is an important part of our community. It brings in thousands of students every year. It's an important part of our local economy here. It's also a large part of how this city was formed and how we have reacted to the growth from the post-secondary education institutions here in our community. Everything from housing to business to healthy lifestyle options, programming, budgetary needs through the city. All of these really have been dictated by, or largely impacted, I should say, by the Winona State students, St. Mary's students, Minnesota Southeast technical students as well. But it has been an important part of our community for a long time. It's extremely important that you as a student vote. I don't care if you do it here or if you're doing it in your home district, but it needs to happen. Voting is the easiest and the best way to have your voice heard. Even if you don't feel like you can be part of a community or you don't feel like you have a voice that's important, making that vote, checking that little box, putting that black dot in the oval there, that's an extremely easy way to make your voice heard. Here's a shocking fact. Winona has about 28,000 residents here. It'll fluctuate when students come in, but on average we have about 28,000 people here, and we have for almost 100 years. In the last 16 years, we've only had 14,100 people vote in Winona. That's half of the population. Granted, some are people under 18, but only 14,100 people have voted in the last 16 years here. Our population's 28,000. When students come in, we're almost 38,000. It's crazy. We've only had 14,100 people vote here. It's extremely important that you get out and vote, that you take the time to either request that absentee ballot for your home district, or you register here and go down to the polls or vote absentee here and make sure that your voice is heard. It's the very easiest way. It's the simplest way, especially with the restrictions that have been lifted during COVID. It's even easier than ever to make your voice heard. So it's extremely important that you get out and vote. One of the questions that's been presented to me by Student Senate is, what are my perspectives on higher education? Well, I'm a product of higher education. I think it's extremely important to continue your education, to learn as much as you can. I'm 47 years old. I came here in 1992. I have not learned as much. Let me rephrase that. I have not learned this much since I have run as a candidate for office since I was an undergrad. You as a student, you are getting so much information right now. And a lot of times it's memorizing and regurgitating it. Sometimes you don't actually learn stuff. You'll forget it in a few years because you're not using it. But the key thing here is that you need to try and absorb as much as you can. A lot of that social aspect of going to college, going to university, would be just as important in your learning process, in becoming who you are, as what you're learning in class. I know during COVID it's extremely difficult to really experience the social settings the way you would hope to, or the way I got to, or the way someone did even a year ago. But we will get through this, and when we do, things will start opening up again. You'll be able to have events, you'll be able to hang out with friends, you'll be able to go to house parties, you'll be able to go to bars again, restaurants, whatever it is that you want to do. But it's extremely important during this time that you try to get involved in the community, and voting is one of the easiest ways to do that. Another question that I've had is, how will I protect the environment? Being someone who has spent a lot of time outside, I've, primarily on a bike, but I camp a lot, I run, I hike. I have two little ones, 2.5-year-old and a 9-month-old, which you'll see in other parts of this video. They bring me outside, my little ones. My wife and I have kind of a unwritten rule, try to get outside every single day. It helps the brain, helps the body, and really, for me, outside the bluffs, the river, all the natural resources that we have here in Winona are what brought me here originally. Granted, my best friend came to school here, but to be honest, what kept me here was what we had to offer here in Winona. It's just gorgeous. I love it. I will do everything I can to protect the environment. My wife and I own Trinona, the local triathlon here that's run down at Lake Winona every year in June. Some of you have participated in it. Thank you for that. Some of you have volunteered. We appreciate that as well. We see the outdoors as something that's extremely important. What Winona has is special, and we want to protect it. I want to protect it. I will do whatever I can to make sure that development doesn't ruin what we have, that we have the ability to protect the land that we have available in terms of parks, outdoor amenities, the river, the lake, trying to clean those up. In fact, city staff and council are currently working on a program to try and clean up Lake Winona a little bit better so that you can actually swim in it again and not get attacked by the weeds that are in there. These things are extremely important to me. I will always vote for protecting the environment. My next question, hit another subject all of a sudden. What are my views on immigration and its impact both on the local and national economy? As a candidate for mayor, I don't know that I have much say in the national economy. I mean, I see what you see. Our country was founded on immigration. My great-grandfather came from Norway. My other great-grandfather came during the Holocaust. And the United States in general is a melting pot of all different cultures. And not only the people who came here, but the people who originally lived on this land, the indigenous people. Immigration to me is something that from a local standpoint is something that helps benefit our community. The wider range of cultures that we incorporate into Winona, the more ideas that we can bring into our small community will help make it better. Oftentimes, especially during these times, there are a lot of people who really have a hard time with that for whatever reason. Sometimes they think the immigrants are stealing jobs. They think, I don't know what they're thinking, to be honest, but immigration is something we were built on. It's something that we need to embrace. It's something that we need to continue to support. Give people the opportunity. America is supposed to be the greatest nation in the country. I feel that Winona is one of the greatest cities in the Midwest, if not the country as well. So why not have more voices here? Different voices. I don't care where you're from, but if you get involved, I'm going to listen to you. I want to find out more about your experiences, your opinions, because everybody's opinions are based on their own experiences. So it's extremely important to be able to listen to those voices, those opinions, and try to understand how their experiences formed those opinions. One person cannot do it all. One person doesn't have all the best ideas. The best ideas come from collaboration, good conversation, and you can always find something positive. You can always learn something. I don't care what class you're in. I don't care about that person across the hall in the dorm or that neighbor of yours. You can learn something from them, even if you don't agree with them. That opportunity is there, and it's important that you grasp it while you can. Since I've been running as a candidate for mayor, since I filed for candidacy, I've done my damnedest to learn as much as I can about our community. I actually feel pretty well versed in terms of every aspect of our community now. I have ideas, but I know they're not all right. So it's important that we get as many voices to the table, on the phone, via Zoom. I don't care how. We need to get public input. You as students have a strong voice, together an extremely strong voice. You're a large part of our community. That's why it's important that not only you vote, but I want you to feel like, hey, I can relate to that guy down the street who works third shift, drinks Busch Light, watches NASCAR, and plays softball, right? There's something from that person you can still learn. Something that you'll pull out of them and you'll learn. You'll remember it 20 years down the road. I still remember my interactions with the townies 25 years ago. When I came to school here, we always thought, oh, those townies, they're a different crowd. They don't want us here. Baloney, we love you here. We think it's awesome that you're here. It invigorates our town. What we really want is we want you to stay here. We're glad the college has got you to come here, but now we want you to stay here. We want you to be part of our community. We want you to help be part of the growth, part of the learning, and part of the accepting of different cultures within our community. It's important. More voices bring about better ideas. They bring about growth. They bring about being a better ancestor for the next generation. You're in your 20s more than likely. I know it's hard to look forward 20 years and imagine where you are. I am you. I came from somewhere else. I saw the beauty in Winona. I saw the community here. I fell in love with it. Even though I left for a few years, I came back. Because again, I love it here. My wife and I have put down roots here. We're raising our family here. We would love to have you do the same. As your mayor, I'm going to do my best to try and hear as many people as I can. Every single person that's reached out to me so far, via email, Facebook, phone calls, texts, you name it, I've responded to every single one of them. I try to talk over the phone if I can, or in person. That way I can really get a good gauge of what they're trying to express to me, so that I can truly understand the needs of our community and what we need to do to be better along the way. Get out there and vote. Get your butts down there and vote. Make your voice heard. Become part of our community. We want you here. We need you here. And we hope that you choose to stay here. Even if you leave for a few years, come on back. Come visit us. See how we look in 4 years. I appreciate your time. Thank you to the WSU Student Senate. Thank you to you, the students, the faculty of Winona State. Thank you for choosing Winona, for making it your home for at least a little while. Hi, I'm Scott Sherman.
Hi.
That's Harrison. He's always hanging on my leg. This is Everly. She likes sweet potatoes Green beans, spinach, kale, you know, baby food type stuff. This is who I am. Lindsay and I moved here. I moved here 22 years ago. Lindsay came here, what?
15 years ago.
15 years ago. And when we met, a big attraction for us to the area were the mountain bike trails. Today is actually our 12th anniversary. And the reason we're out here today is every year we take a loop up at our favorite trail up at Holzinger. One of the things I really want to do is I want to attract and retain talent to this area. It's beautiful. It's something that we feel is unrivaled anywhere else in the Midwest. It's something that we take great passion in terms of being able to not only offer these types of outdoor amenities to people, to students like you, to the residents of this town, to the people who grow up here, to businesses that are trying to attract employees to the area. It's these types of outdoor amenities that Lindsay and I have worked so hard to maintain and grow that really make Winona special. And that's part of the reason why I'm running for mayor. So our first date was where?
On these trails.
Yes.
And I crashed. And
How did we meet?
at the bike shop.
Yep.
Yep. We both worked at Adventure. But I worked there for snowboarding, not for biking.
You did. And I remember you walked in and I thought, oh, I better go help this woman. And then you went behind the counter and clocked in. And I was like, sweet, she works here. And then we ended up going on a mountain bike ride up here. Yeah.
Yep.
And how was your first ride with me?
Terrible.
How come? What happened?
Fell 30 feet off a bluff, cracked my helmet, lost my shoe, and cried the whole time.
There was blood.
Blood.
Yep.
Came back to the shop and told them to sell my mountain bike. We'll get a road bike. And now look, we're back out on the trails riding and having fun in a town that we love. Even though we work remotely, we choose to live here. We could literally live anywhere in the world. And we choose to live here in Winona because of the trails that are here, because of the river, because of the cool arts and culture elements of our town, because of the people. You want to talk to me about in terms of why I love it here, why Lindsay loves it here, why we choose to stay here, reach out to me. Let me be part of that process and help me make Winona better so that people do stay here, so people are attracted to the area, and so that we can really make Winona a better place for everybody. There's Mom. A pumpkin? There's another pumpkin? Two pumpkins? Oh my goodness. Harrison, say hi.
Hi.
What are we doing? We're going for a bike ride. And where are we gonna go?
Hello.
We're gonna say hello.
Hey, Mom.
Where are we going, Mom? Oh, okay. Should we go get some dinner later too? Hi, I'm Scott Sherman and I'm running for mayor. Do you know how many times I've had to say that into a camera? It's ridiculous. Hi, I'm Scott Sherman, and I'm running for mayor of Winona. WSU Student Senate, blah, blah, blah. Hi, I'm Scott Sherman. I'm running for mayor of Winona. Oh, that one hurt my balls. Oh, that didn't go well.
Hold on. Your failure to launch.
Hi, I'm Scott Sherman. This is what I do.